Chalo, we are back. In this particular recording, we are going to start with chapter 4. Chapter 4, my first essay which we are going to do is essay 500, the base one. Before starting, I told you chapter 4 comes around 18 marks. Taken up 18 marks. Why? There are 8 essays. Taken up 8 essays in chapter 4. I have to tell you, even if the test 4, 50%, each can come for 3 marks. 4 3s are 12. Few will come for, sorry, 4. The paper pattern is 5 5 4. Yeah. So if all 4 come for 4 marks, still it comes to 16. So minimum last attempt, Jan attempt, entire chapter 4 came for 18 marks. But it's the average, 18 to 20, 18 to 20. Okay. Easy chapter. Please don't look chapter 4 as a chapter. Please look at each essay as a chapter. You will feel reading it. If you take entire chapter 4, 110 pages, you'll go mad. So see, essay wise. Okay, today I'm going to do these 2 essays. Tomorrow I'm going to do these 2 essays. Do 2 essays from chapter 4 today and 2 essays from chapter 7. So you'll feel like, okay, you have done something good. If you keep chapter 4 in your mind and start doing it now, you'll feel bored. Understood? Okay? Human mentality. Okay. SA500 series is all about audit evidence. The 500 series is called as audit evidence. 500, 501, 510, 520, 550, 530. The entire 500 series is called to be audit evidence series. Because now we are in that position ki we have learned chapter 1, we have learned chapter 11, we have learned chapter 2. Now we are actually going to start performing audit procedures to obtain audit evidence. And audit evidence should be SI, sufficient and appropriate audit evidence. It must be sufficient, also sufficient with the quantity and appropriate with the quality. Understood? Okay. Let's start. Again, Samir has come. We're going to ignore Samir. The first essay introduction, we are going to skip it. First essay we're going to see is essay 500. 500, the meaning essay and 500 series name is audit evidence. Essay 500 heading is audit evidence. What is audit evidence? It is nothing but the information. Audit evidence is nothing but the information which is used by the auditor. Why do we use? Because we want to arrive at conclusion. On this conclusion only, auditor's opinion is based. Are correct or not? We perform audit procedures to obtain audit evidence. We use this audit evidence to draw conclusion. On each, for sales, you have got some audit evidence. Purchase, you have got some audit evidence. Cumulative audit evidence, you are drawing conclusion. On that conclusion, one thing is based. What is that? Opinion. Correct or not? Yeah. Audit evidence includes both. But the audit evidence is of 2 things. Cumulative of 2 things. One is information in the accounting records and other information. One is information from your accounting records, that is books of accounts, vouchers, bills, contracts, and this. And second one is other information. What is that other information? Minutes. That doesn't come under accounting records. It is that other information. Correct or not? You have to mark this definition, very important. Then you have to mark this also. Now, when they have explained what are those 2 things, what is included in those 2 things. That means what is included in the accounting records, what is included in the other information. Information in the accounting records includes everything which relates to accounts. If you see accounting entries, checks, electronic fund transfers, invoices, contracts, general subsidiary ledgers, journal entries, worksheets, spreadsheets, etc. Other information, minutes. You take external confirmation from the external parties, data SA500, external confirmation, that, and manuals containing details of internal control. Company would have set internal control, they would have some policies and procedures, that also. Correct or not? Ultimately, what is internal control? Giving roles and responsibility to each and employee, that is also internal control. No? You are responsible for passing journal entries. You yourself are an internal control. Am I right? Next, bogus part. Types of audit evidence depends on 2: nature and source. Nature, 3 types: visual, oral, documentary. What visual, oral, documentary? Visual audit evidence, oral audit evidence, documentary audit evidence. Visual matlab which you see something. Stock counting, you see it. Visual audit evidence. Oral, you ask something to the management, management will tell it to you orally. Correct or not? Yeah. Then documentary. Documentary means documents, invoices. Okay. That is on the nature. What is the source? Source matlab from where you have got the audit evidence. From where you have got the audit evidence. One is internal. Internal matlab within the entity. External matlab outside the entity. Purchase invoice is internal or external? Purchase invoice. External. External. Because when we purchase, invoice comes from outside. Sales invoice? Bogus. MCQ, nothing else. Rest everything is bogus. As you think and tell me. Question. As an auditor, which is more reliable? External audit evidence or internal audit evidence? External. Why? Because internal is made by the management. They can manipulate it. Okay. Next question. Which is more reliable? Documentary audit evidence or oral audit evidence? Of course, documentary. Because oral today they are telling something, tomorrow they might not tell the same thing. Visual, it is not that effective. The reason is one thing, because it is an audit evidence only at that particular point of time. Stock counting you have done, you see, audit evidence there itself. Tomorrow, if you want to prove somebody regarding stock, what will you issue? Are you Chitti the robo, or you will take out that specs, you can show that? Correct or not? You cannot. See. Next comes relevance and reliability. You have to mug this paragraph. This talks about relevance, this talks about reliability. My question to you, we must know key audit evidence must be sufficient and appropriate both. Sufficiency talks about quantity, appropriate talks about quality. My question to you, the audit evidence should also be relevant and should also be reliable. The audit evidence should also be relevant and reliable. Now this relevant and reliable, is it like this key relevance means sufficiency, reliability means quality, or reliability means sufficiency, relevant means quality, or both are quantity, both are quality? It is both are quality. Both relevance and reliability affects directly the quality, that means appropriateness. That means whatever audit evidence you are gathering, first thing, whatever audit evidence you have gathered, it must be relevant to the item which you are performing the audit procedure on. If you have gotten sales invoice, it is relevant to sales or purchase? Sales. That must be relevant to it. Second, reliable. Reliable matlab you must make your own judgment whether the audit evidence you are able to rely on it or not. Who will decide whether you are able to rely on it? Auditor himself. Using his own judgment, he will decide whether it is reliable or not reliable. Correct or not? Sales invoice, no, sales invoice should be in a pakka format in which the sales manager or the signature should be there. If they give you 10, 100 sales invoices, in that 90 sales invoices, the sales manager or signature is there, the authentication is there, authorized signature is there. But in 10 invoices, signature is not there. Are those 10 reliable? No. Why? Nobody has checked it, no. Generally, sales has to be checked by sales manager. Correct? That is called as reliability. So relevance means logical connection of that audit evidence with the item you are checking. Correct or not? Reliability means that item, that audit evidence, are you able to rely on it to draw conclusion and to form opinion on it? Understood? Kya? Then there is something called as test of controls and substantive procedures. This entire thing you don't have to read. This entire thing not required to be read. It is pure RML. Next is reliability. Reliability already I have explained to you. Reliability is affected by only one thing. What is that? The source and its nature. Reliability is affected by two things. One is source and its nature. I already asked you the question. Source, which is more reliable, internal or external? External. Nature, visual or oral or documentary? Documentary. Same thing here. But there are various other things also which affects the reliability. There are various other things also which affects the reliability. You think and tell me, which is more reliable? Original copy of invoice or Xerox copy of invoice? Anything, any audit evidence which has come directly to the auditor or which has come through the management to the auditor? Directly to the auditor, because if it comes through management, they can manipulate it. Those points they have written here. There is a particular audit evidence. Over and above that, the internal controls are strong. And another audit evidence where the internal controls are weak. Which is more reliable? Where the internal controls are strong. Those points they have written here. See, if it is obtained from, one I told you, internal, external, obtained outside sources, outside entity. Then where the internal controls are strong, then means audit evidence will be effective. Then directly obtained by auditor and not through the management. Then documentary form and not in oral or visual. Last, it received in original document rather than Xerox copies, duplicate copies. So if they ask a question that generalizations made about reliability or factors affecting reliability, write these points and come. Correct or not? Yeah, these are the points which you keep in mind while checking the reliability. Coming to next one. Sufficiency and appropriateness. Already told you, sufficiency means quantity, appropriateness means quality. Think and tell me, as an auditor, you face the situation where for a particular item, you got 5 audit evidences. That means sufficiency, yes, 5, but none of them are appropriate. Is it proper? No. You got 1 audit evidence appropriate, but no sufficiency. With 1, can you go proceed? No. It depends again. It is nowhere written that for one item you must get 2 audit evidence. No, nowhere written. It depends on auditor's judgment. You decide whether you are satisfied. The sign no sufficient appropriate, it is a clear-cut judgment of the auditor. Understood? Kya? So both are required, not just sufficiency, not just appropriateness, a combination of both. That is what it is written. No, both are interrelated. Both are required. This entire page is RML. Entire page. Why? Nothing in this is important. There are 2 MCQs. I'll make you mark. One is, it is not in this page. It is cumulative in nature. Somewhere it is written. Audit evidence is cumulative in nature. It is not written here. Here it is. This is an MCQ. Audit evidence is cumulative in nature. What is the meaning of this? The more and more audit evidence you get, cumulatively you draw one conclusion. And it is not like discrete. This audit evidence on this item. It is like one item you got 2 audit evidence. Cumulatively you are going to decide whether this particular item is having misstatement or not. Understood kya? So audit evidence is dash in nature, cumulative in nature. Exam MCQ, take cumulative. Then second one more line I want to explain, this one. It is not always necessary that you got some data and that is considered to be audit evidence. Sometimes absence of information, that means you have not got information, that also acts like an audit evidence. For example, you told the management, a related party transaction is there. Give me some data. Management told, no, I don't have. Did they give you audit evidence? No. That itself is like a audit evidence. Tomorrow you can document it in your documentation. I asked the management for this particular related party transaction, this document, but they did not provide it. Tomorrow if there is any fraud, what you can show, that particular documentation, they did not give me any information. Absence of information is also like a audit evidence. Rest everything is bogus. Okay, na? Because it is that chapter 1, reasonable assurance, that it is pure cut, that only. Then now we understood factors affecting reliability. Correct or not? Factors affecting reliability, those 6 points. Visual, oral, documentary, physical form, original form. Correct or not? We did no. Now we need to talk about factors affecting sufficiency. That means quantity. How you going to make sure ki whether you need 1 audit evidence or you need 2 audit evidence, or you need?
Sir, excuse me, the video is stuck, sir.
Video is stuck?
Sir, am I audible?
Yes, you are audible.
Yes, video is stuck and the voice is also breaking.
For everybody or only for you? Others, please confirm.
For everybody.
For everybody. Okay. Let me check. There is issue with the Wi-Fi only. Is it still like that, breaking up? No.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. There is some issue with the Wi-Fi. Okay, continuing. We did one question, factors affecting reliability. Am I right? Now we're going to talk about factors affecting the sufficiency. Ki when 1 audit evidence is better or when 5 audit evidence is better. Number, quantity. We have to discuss that. Understood? What are the 3 factors? One is materiality, one is risk of material misstatement, one is size and characteristics of the population. Explaining it in a very simple way. Materiality means important. For example, if a company is into trading of goods, don't you think stock is very material? Stock is very material. So if you find a particular item of P&L or an item of a balance sheet which is very material, then please make sure that you get sufficient audit evidence for it. For example, if there is only one repair and maintenance for one fan, one invoice, is it material? Even if you get 1 audit evidence for it, no, it is okay. But if there is stock, related party, assets, in that case, if they are material means amounts wise. If it is material means amount wise talking about. If the amount is very high, please get more and more audit evidence according to your judgment. Understood? Yeah. Then comes ROM. ROM, risk of material misstatement. You know the meaning of risk of material misstatement? There is a chance, there is a risk that in that item there is a misstatement, but not a normal misstatement, material misstatement. For example, take again the same example, a related party transaction. In general, it is considered, okay, related party transaction, the misstatement is always high. In that case, please make sure that you have got sufficient audit evidence in your hand. So depending upon the ROMM, if the ROMM is low, your sufficiency will be low. If the ROMM is high, your sufficiency will be high. Last one, size of the population, characteristics of population. Now what is this word population? Array sampling. You know the meaning of population? Sales invoices are 1000. That entire 1000 invoices is called as population. Out of those 1000, you selected 300. You know what is the 300? Sample size. So bigger the size of population, probably your sufficiency will also be bigger. Now what is this characteristics? Characteristics, 2 types of characteristics. One is homogeneous population, one is called as heterogeneous population. You know what is the difference? Homogeneous matlab the entire population is having almost similar values, like they're ranging from 500 to 1500. Heterogeneous, the invoices, no, those 1000 invoices, the values of each of those invoices are ranging from 500 to 5 lakh. Few invoices are 500 rupees, few invoices 10,000, few 20, few, it goes till 5 lakh. So if the population is heterogeneous, automatically your sufficiency should be bigger. Correct or not? Because you want to make sure that all those values range gets covered under your sample. Easy kya? Simple, complete. Correct kya? You can keep it as a keyword for also. Mrs. 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 we tell no? Mrs. Understood kya? Done kya? This is not the important, but you can read it on your own. Source of audit evidence. Where will you get that audit evidence? You can do some analysis, you'll get audit evidence. You do some review, you'll get some audit evidence. You re-perform procedures, ठीक है ना? Whatever procedures management perform while making the financial statements, you re-perform them, you'll get some audit evidence. You reconcile few activities like bank reconciliation and this cash, again you'll get some kind of information. This I've already explained you. What is this? That chart which I made you draw in chapter 2, no? AP, RAP, FAP. Under FAP, TOC, SP. Under SP, TOD, SAP. If you have not drawn the chart, I'll make you draw. Georgina is very sleepy. Sleepy, very sleepy. Okay. Under this, see, I told you, these are the main audit procedures. These are the main audit procedures. But you think it, tell me. If I tell you, what was her name? I forgot. Kaushalya, if I tell you, go check sales, perform audit procedure, what will you do? Adisha, should I perform risk assessment procedure or test of controls? And like, array, those are like those heads of procedures. For checking sales, what procedures you're going to perform? You're going to perform something called as OICI RRR. What? OICI RRR. What is OICI RRR? O for observation, I for inspection, OIC for confirmation. What confirmation? External confirmation. A for analytical procedures, I for inquiry, R for recalculation, R for reperformance. These are the actual audit procedures which the auditor performs to obtain audit evidence. Understood? Kya? For example, I want to check sales. What are the audit procedures I can perform? First, I can perform inspection. Inspection, I will inspect the goods. Whether if you have told that this amount has been, this is the sales invoice, you have sold some 10 phones to them. I will go to the stock, I will check whether those out of the 100, now only 90 should be there. Inspection. One more thing, I can inspect the document. Sales invoice, I'll inspect. Correct or not? Yeah, inspection. Then comes observation. Sorry, inspection comes under documents. I'm really sorry. Inspection comes under documents. Observation, you observe something. You observe physical counting. Physical counting, physical stock counting. Observation. External confirmation. What is external confirmation? Confirming something from a person who is not a part of the entity, who is outside the entity. Debtor confirmation, creditor confirmation, banks lend the loan confirmation, FD confirmation. That and all we directly communicate with the outside person. That is called as external confirmation. Recalculation. One thing you see in the question, you take recalculation. What is that? Mathematical accuracy. The moment you see the word mathematical accuracy, that means you're checking some kind of max calculation. What you're going to take? Recalculation. Reperformance. It was a procedure originally performed by the management. You are again performing it. It is called as reperformance. Then analytical procedures, some kind of analysis by doing two things. One, forming some relationships or doing some kind of comparison. What relationship, what comparison? Comparison of what comparison? Comparing your current year's financial statements with the last year's financial statements. Comparing your current year's financial statement with your budget forecast financial statements. Compare your financial statements with the industry's average financial statements. Compare your financial statements with some other entities who is of same size but a financial statement. This is called as comparison. Relationships, form relationship between financial data and financial and non-financial data. Financial and financial data ratios. Net profit ratio, net profit upon sales. Net profit is also finance, sales is also finance. What is financial and non-financial data? Salaries paid, number of employees. So salaries paid is financial data, number of employees is a non-salary data. Labors and number of wages paid. Labors and the wages paid. Rent square feet and the rent paid. Rent square feet is non-financial data, rent paid is financial data. Do this relationship. Yes, we do it. Generally, you are going to learn here also. If the entities, your client is in this floor, and if they're paying rent for this particular 100 square feet as 20,000, you go fourth floor, some other company, ask them also. Yes, sir, for your 100 square feet, how much you are paying? If they say, we are paying only 5,000. Why your client is paying 20,000? If there's any inflation of expenses, check it. Check the rental agreement. Understood? Kya? Inquiry, very simple. Directly inquire to the management or any other person within the entity. If you have forgotten, inquiry can be done within the entity to any person. It has been given a rights to us. There's a question on the inquiry. Here it is. It is not here. It is there in the third chapter. Third chapter it is there. There's a question in third chapter. To whom and all we can do inquiry? Inquiry from the HR personnel, inquiry from the marketing personnel, inquiry from the in-house legal counsel. We are going to do in chapter 3. I'll give a reference. Don't worry. Understood the meaning of each and every point. Pakka kya? Done kya? Continuing. This is not that important. This is not that important. From 1.7a, start skipping it. 1.7 is skip, 1.7b skip, 1.7b1 skip, 1.7b2 skip. I told in the class also because it is that chart which I make you draw. Okay, so this chart you have to suppose I make you draw this chart. Georgina, this is my class. Okay. Enter 1.7ab, 2 skip. Directly come to assertions. You remember assertions in the class I told you? You remember assertions? Okaka, Okka, ECRV. Judgeness, what the hell are you talking, Atishay? What is this language, dumb language? It is OCCCA, OCCCA. That means Okaka, OCCCA. This is for P&L items, classes of transactions, P&L items. Then something called as ECRV. ECRV is for balance sheet items. And last one is again OCCA. OCA. It is for presentation and disclosure. It is here. It is there in the book. See, here it is. For classes of transaction, matlab P&L events. If you know, class of transaction is nothing but P&L items. Account balance is nothing but balance sheet items, and presentation disclosure nothing but the note stock and the disclosure. For COT it is OCCCA. Account balances it is ECRV. Presentation disclosure it is OCCA. You have to just understand the meaning. Occurrence matlab the particular item of income or expense have been pertaining to the entity. It has been occurred. If they have shown repair and maintenance to this AC, check whether that invoice is on the name of the company. It has been occurred, a repair and maintenance has been done. No. Second is called as completeness. If there are 500 sales, 500 sales invoices should have been recorded in the books to accounts. Completeness. Accuracy, whatever is the value of that sales, properly, accurately recorded value. Cutoff. Cutoff is the most important. Relevant financial year. Cutoff is nothing but relevant financial year. Everything which happens on or before 31st March should be recorded in this financial year. Which has happened on 1st April should be recorded in the next financial year. Correct or not, yaar? Sales, when it is recorded, when the risk and rewards have been transferred. For example, invoice raised on 31st March, but risk and rewards have been transferred on 4th April. When will you record the sales? 4th April, next year. Understood kya? That is called as cutoff. That is the key cutoff date. That cutoff date is 31st March. Understood kya? Classification, everything should be properly classified between P and P and salary. Salary should go into salaries ledger. Employee benefit expense should go to salaries ledger. Understood kya? Account balance, ECRV. What is ECRV? E for existence. If they have told there are 5 ACs and 2 fans in this room, sir, AC sir. Sir, 5 AC. The asset must exist. Liability must also exist. Rights and obligation. If there is an EC over here, whose rights on this AC should be? It is the company's rights. That means the entity would namely the AC. It must not be purchased on the name of director and it has been cut here. Allah, not allowed. Correct or not? What is obligation? Obligation means duties, liabilities. All assets are rights and all liabilities are obligations. Next one is same, completeness. All assets and liabilities should be completely recorded. Last one, valuation. The valuation and allocation should be done accurately. That means depreciation should be calculated properly, wear and tear should be reduced, those things. Presentation disclosure, it is a mashup of your COT and EB. Occurrence and rights and obligation. That means disclose all those things which have occurred in the entity during the financial year. All rights, all obligations should have been disclosed. If there is any provision, disclose that also. Completeness, please disclose all the relevant disclosures. Please classify the disclosure in such a way that it is understandable. Please, whatever disclosures needs any amounts to be disclosed, please those amounts should be disclosed accurately. For example, there is a case on the company for those that much of penalty. Please show that penalty amount in the disclosure also. Understood kya? Any doubts kya? Shall I continue ka? Next to audit trail, very important audit trail. What is audit trail? I gave an example in the class also. Trail means a loop. Trail means a loop. Loop lila a flow. You have seen Chota Bheem? You see Cartoon Network? When those cartoons go into the jungle, they take those small laddus or biscuits in their hand. Why? While going inside the jungle, they will do like this, like this. Why? Because while coming back, they can trail it. They can track it. Same thing happens here also. Audit trail is a feature. Audit trail is a feature which has been added in all the accounting softwares. Accounting softwares, Tally, SAP, all these softwares there. Audit trail is a mandatory feature. What is this feature? Giving a story, then you can read it on your own. I was doing an audit of a company. They sent me the tally. I was in my office. They sent me the tally. I was doing the ledger verification. All the creditors I was checking. There were some 500 creditors ledger. Each and ledger I have to open and check. I checked the 50 or 100. I checked 100. I checked 100 ledgers. Out of that 100, 10 or 20 were having misstatements. Out of those 100, there were 10 or 20 that's having misstatements. I sent the tally back to the client and I told, sir, I marked those 10 or 20. Please check them and revise them, rectify them, the misstatements. When they sent it back, they rectified those 10. Apart from that, few more they have changed. From those 100 which I've already checked. Now you think and tell me, when they send me back the tally, do I have any trail? They have changed those ledgers which I've already checked? I don't have any trail. So that is why this feature has been added in this tally. That means Once I have checked it, once the auditor has checked it, no, if you put that enter button, no, the tick will come and the date and time will become when it has been checked. Tomorrow, if somebody else opens that ledger and makes any changes, date, party name, amount, narration, anything, if they change, automatically near that date, one more date will come, because now it is clear that this has been modified by somebody. Understood kya? With this, the auditor can keep a trail which ledgers are again and again changing, and he can keep a check. That is called as audit trail. Understood kya? Pakka kya? Then comes information to be used as audit evidence. What is it? Here is the question. When information to be used as audit evidence has been prepared using the work of management's expert. Sometimes what happens, no? These managements, no, they are not expert in making financial statements. Taken up one or two areas, like for example, if it is a very complex machinery, to do valuation of that machinery, they are not expert. They will hire some expert in taking the valuation of the plant and machinery, or a particular property. They are not expert. Management, they are not expert in valuing the property. They will call some expert in valuation of that particular, and they will help in making the financial statements. In that case, the nature, the timing and extent of the auditor's audit procedures may be affected by few matters. For example, you think and tell me, if a particular valuation of a balance sheet item is valued by an expert, that means he has helped in making the financial statements. Yes. You think and tell me, your audit procedures which you are going to perform on that particular item, if that expert is a dumb guy, will you rely more on his work or will you rely less on his work? Less. Will you perform detailed audit procedures on his work or less detailed audit procedures? More. If he's dumb, you will perform more detailed audit procedures or less detailed procedures? More detailed procedures. Like this question has been framed. If management has called an expert, then auditor, you will perform audit procedures. Those audit procedures or NTE will get affected by few things. One is this: if the expert is dumb, you will perform more detailed audit procedures. One is, if you already have an experience with that expert, last year you already worked, and you know he is very good in doing it, probably your audit procedures will be less detailed. Understood kya? Pakka kya? You'll also check whether that expert is under the influence of the management. Under the influence of the management, he must also be little independent, no? If the valuation of the property is 2 lakhs, he must put only 2 lakhs. Management told, I'll give you 50,000 fee extra, put it as 4 crores. Again, if you get to know that idea, if this particular expert, no, he is under the influence of management, you tell me, you will perform more audit procedures or less? More. Understood or not? Yeah. You're going to check that expert or knowledge, whether that expert is having that knowledge in that field or not. You will check his professional qualification, whether he's qualified or not. If a BCom graduate is doing it, will you perform less on his work or more on his work? More on his work. Like this, they have given so many points which will affect your NTE of your audit procedures. Vaishnavi, good morning. Understood kya? Then coming to the last topic, this one, selecting items for testing to obtain audit evidence. What is it? Whenever you are performing audit procedures, you want to obtain audit evidence. So whenever you perform audit procedures, there are 3 ways of checking. How many ways? 3 ways. One is the basic one, select all items. Again, that is very rare. Generally we do it, rarely we do it. For example, I tell you honestly, if it is sales, we don't check all the sales. But if it is related party transaction, we check all the related party transaction. If there are 5 bank accounts, you have to check the closing balance of the bank statement should match with the tally. Will you do sampling for bank accounts? If there are 50 bank accounts, you check all the 50 bank accounts. The closing balance as on 31st March, which is there in the bank statement, should be there in the tally. You cannot do sampling because bank statement, you cannot do galata. So generally we do sampling only, but for few items where the risk is very high or it is very complex, so we do it on a 100% basis. Second option, selecting specific items. Again, it is a separate question which you're going to see. What are those specific items? Third one is the base sampling, which we are going to learn in detail. Nothing here in this chapter also. Take care. So the first lettering, selecting all items, it is asked as a question. This example is asked. What is this example? 100% examination is appropriate. That means they're telling sometimes no, it is better to check 100%. When? If the population constitutes a small number of large value items. That means there are 10 invoices, but all 10 invoices are of 2 crores plus or 10 lakhs plus or whatever it is. Please check all. If ulta is there, many invoices but all of small values, then you do sampling. Okay. Then there is a significant risk and do not provide any sufficient appropriate audit evidence also. There is a risk of misstatement and no proper audit evidence is there. So perform 100% checking. A repetitive nature of a calculation or other process performed automatically by an information system makes 100% examination cost effective. See, for example, banks pay interest. They have a software. You click enter, all accounts would have calculation pattu over a second level. In that case, you can do 100% examination. No, you check the formula for one. You check the formula for one, whether interest is being calculated properly or not. For others, you just put enter. Automatically, the entire interest will be calculated. 100% verified. Take the calculation, take the total of all those 100 accounts. It will match. Correct or not? Yeah. Understood? Kya? Yes. So these are the 3 areas where 100% is better. Selecting specific item. What are those examples? What are those specific items? Specific items may include 3 things. One is high value. One is all items over a certain amount. Third one is items to obtain information. What is it? When do we select one specific item? If that item is having a very high value, if the value is very high, we will do on a specific item. There are 10 invoices of sales. I will select only those 2 because those are having very high value. Others are very chindi. Some are 1,000 rupees invoices, but other 2 are 20,000. I'll take those. Can you do that? Yes. But again, depends on few areas we do it, not everywhere. Then all items over a certain amount. One word should come into your mind. All items over a certain amount. What is that word? Materiality. Materiality. We said material over and above that only we check. Materiality. And last one, open-ended point. What is that open-ended point? Any item from which you might get some information, some audit evidence, select that item. That is, if you see that item to obtain information. Any item you select, if that item is going to give you some information, select that item. Understood? Yeah. Audit sampling, bogus, we are going to do in chapter 4, SA500 in detail. Inconsistency or doubts over reliability of audit evidence. If auditor you find audit evidence from one source is contradicting with the other audit evidence, or the auditor has doubts over reliability, please you modify or you perform more procedures. Modify your procedures and additionally perform more procedures to satisfy yourself. Understood? Kya? There is one more question on expert. We did that management expert question. No, there is one more question. Here they're telling Atishay, whenever you see that the management has hired an expert, no, check few things about that expert. Check few things about that expert. First, check the competence capabilities of that expert. Okay, whether he's having skills, knowledge, experience, history, correct or not. Then obtain understanding of the work of that expert. See, expert has been hired for a particular work calculation. Blindly don't accept his work. You also obtain some understanding of the work which he is performing. See, ultimately you are signing the auditor's report. You're signing the financial statements. Tomorrow if there is something wrong, they will not call the expert first. They will call auditor first. And you cannot tell, this area expert, do not ask me. Then why did you sign? Give some explanation. For giving some explanation, you must have some understanding. Last one, check the appropriateness of the expert's work as audit evidence for the relevant assessment. Whether whatever work he has performed, you are going to use that as an audit evidence. Correct or not? Yeah. For example, he has calculated the valuation of a property. You're going to use this as an audit evidence. Check whether the audit evidence is even relevant to what you want. For example, you are checking for cutoff. Whether the audit evidence which is given, is it relevant for cutoff or not? Or for completeness or not? Understood? Kya? And 1.14 is bogus. No need to read at all. Whatever audit evidence you get, please evaluate it. Please evaluate it. Please draw conclusions on which your opinion is based. Any doubts? Kya? No doubts? Kya? We are done with SA 500.